Hey guys, and welcome to the Kuma Language Show, where we talk about anything and everything to do with language learning. And today we're going to be talking about one of the most asked questions in all of language learning. How do you think in a foreign language? This is a question that has been asked to me hundreds, maybe even thousands of times in the comments, and I've seen it asked all over the place. And I've also seen a lot of people try to answer this question, and it's another one of those questions that people very often just give a very wishy-washy, vague answer to. And again, it's not an easy question to answer. So today, I want to do my very best to give you one really concrete answer to an amazing way you can think about the idea of thinking in a foreign language, and also a very practical and concrete solution, something you can do starting today to help you start to think actively in a foreign language. If I had to give one piece of advice, one single answer on the ability to think in a foreign language and how you can achieve that, it would be talking to yourself. Hold on. I know that this is a bit delicate because a lot of people don't like talking to themselves in a foreign language, but let's talk about why that is. However, first, let's actually discuss why. Why do I think that talking to yourself is an excellent way to develop the ability to think in a foreign language? Well, when you really think about it, when you think in your native language, that sort of inside voice that you have, right? You're essentially talking to yourself, right? So when you're walking down the street and you see some really nice car go by and you think to yourself, wow, that's a nice car, like, oh. Or maybe you see a beautiful man or woman walking by and you start thinking about them and you say, wow, she or he is really well dressed, or who knows what. Or when you start thinking to yourself about what you're going to do today, right? Or maybe you're really angry about your job, and in your head you start to imagine the scenario where you finally yell at your boss or you finally quit, and you imagine what you would say. Or maybe you're dating somebody and you want to finally tell them how you feel, and in your head you're thinking about them, talking to yourself about when you're going to do it or what you might say. These are all examples of when we're kind of thinking to ourselves. You're kind of just talking to yourself, right? So that's why talking to yourself out loud in a foreign language is an amazing way to develop that ability to sort of think inside your head in a more organic way in that language. Now, many people find it kind of awkward or uncomfortable to talk to themselves in a foreign language. And in my book, I actually tried to write several sort of pieces of advice that might help make that an easier experience for you. So the first point I would say is that many things in life are kind of awkward or kind of difficult at first. So it's okay if talking to yourself doesn't feel really natural at first. It's like anything else, the first time you do it, it's not going to feel natural, and it gets easier over time. And then second of all, aside from the fact that it does get easier the more you do it and the more comfortable you get, there are techniques that you can sort of use to make it a more smooth and comfortable experience. So for example, one thing you can do is describe things around you. So my favorite way to do this is to go for a walk, right? And as I go for a walk, I'll start to describe things around me. What am I seeing? There's a big house on the left, and that car is really dirty. Oh my God, like what are they thinking? But anyway, and then there's a dog over there that I can't believe that she's letting the dog, do that on the lawn. Anyway, what am I going to do today? I need to go and get some lunch, and then I have a meeting with my friend at 3. God, I hate meeting him every week. It's always the wrong timing. You see, so very often what happens is that you sort of go off on a tangent. It might start kind of mechanical, like you have to force yourself, but I promise you, if you do this every day, or once every other day, but let's say every day when you go on a walk or when you're driving to work. Driving is an excellent place to do this, because when you're driving, by describing what you're doing and what you're seeing, it actually helps you focus on your driving. And this is actually a technique they use, or they used to use at least, in sort of police training, where they would have to train people to drive very well. One of the things they would make you do is they would make you describe everything that you're doing. But I promise you that if you do this every day, it really does start to become easier. It starts to become more natural. And before you know it, once you engage in the activity, you'll just start talking about anything and everything. And that is basically it. You're already thinking in a foreign language at that point. All you have to do is keep doing that. Once you get to the point where you find yourself going off on tangents, where you find yourself getting distracted and talking about the neighbor or, your friend's husband or wife or your boss or how dirty that car is or that stupid cat that just crapped all over the car, that's the point where you're really close. And if you just keep doing it, what you'll find is that one day you'll be walking around doing anything, and you'll realize that you're actually thinking in your foreign language. Happens to me all the time, especially after I just finished speaking it. Sometimes 1 hour later, I'll realize that I'm still thinking in that language. But not even that. Sometimes I'll just find myself randomly. Oftentimes it depends on the topic. So very often, if there's a topic that I have discussed a lot or a topic that I associate with that language, then I'll find myself switching to the language when I think about that topic. It just depends. So, or like a TV show. If you're watching a TV show, or let's say a film, maybe you saw a really good film that you like. If you start thinking about that film, and the film was in French, for example, then you'll find yourself thinking in French about the film. So, like I said, there's more to it. This is quite a complex topic, but I think that's a really solid piece of advice and an extremely concrete way to think about it, and a concrete solution to how you can start thinking in a foreign language.